Hello everyone, thank you for clicking on my video, and if you like this video I will ask you to subscribe to my page below. My name is Ashley and I am the owner of Ascension NXT. We are a holistic magical shop in East Greenwich, Rhode Island. And today I'm going to talk about the phases of awakening from my point of view. So obviously you can tell by the name of my business, Ascension NXT, that I'm very into the ascension process, and it's something that really helped me change my life studying the ascension, moving more into spirituality and connecting to the other side. Even though I've been doing this work since I was a kid, but I've always been very interested in the paranormal and the other side and the unknown since I was very, very young. And when I got older, I decided, I kind of ran into this with Reiki, and then my whole life kind of changed. So what I'm doing with this is I am going to go over, I think that I separated them into 5. And like I said, this is from my point of view. I actually wrote, it was kind of a blog a long time ago and I never posted it. So I'm deciding now to do a video with the information that I have. And this is what I've noticed with myself and other people that are experiencing the awakening. So what is the awakening or the ascension process? What I know of it, and when you watch other videos, you might hear different explanations or maybe saying the same similar things that I am going to say in this video, is the ascension and quote unquote the awakening is the humanity becoming more enlightened and more connected with their spiritual self. Through the ascension process, there's a lot of physical changes that go on throughout the body, which I might touch upon in this video as we go further down into the 5 steps. There's a lot of emotional, which I am definitely going to talk about because these are the main things that I see as an energy healer people go through, and it's really tough. So a lot of the times when I'm talking to my clients and I explain to them the emotions that come out while you're awakening, and your awakening it's a very beautiful process, but it's very traumatic at the same time. But it's totally worth it because you gain wisdom. And I was telling one of my clients the other day that wisdom and knowledge from a spiritual point of view is like driving a Porsche in human point of view. It's your riches. So through all of the lessons that you learned in this lifetime and other lifetimes, you gain a lot of knowledge, you gain a lot of pain, you gain a lot of perception, I guess you can say. And that's why you'll see young kids and they seem a lot older than some adults, is because their soul is very old and they understand. They've done this before. If you have a kid that's ahead of you, they've done what you're doing right now 1,000,000 times over. So it's in the awakening process is the advancement of the soul. And that's what we're going through on the planet right now, is our souls are advancing to another level. We're clearing karmic debt, which I'll probably have to do a video on that, but karmic debt has a lot to do with energy that you've picked up from other lifetimes, and that's what we're beginning to clear. And also with the ascension and the awakening process, I feel like it's the same thing, the ascension and the awakening. The earth, planet Earth, Mother Earth, which I look at her as a breathing entity, her vibration is shifting and changing. And what a term that we use as healers and people that work within the ascension process, ascension teachers, I guess we should call ourselves teachers of the ascension, is that Mother Earth and humanity and even animals, and if you believe like energies on the other realms like fairies, elves, whatever you believe in, I believe that they all exist. We are raising our vibration is the term that we use. So raising your vibration doesn't necessarily mean raising up. It means that you're pulling in more pieces of your soul. It's transforming and transcending transformation. That's why Saint Germain is so popular, one of the ascended masters right now. A lot of his energy is moving in, is because we're really shifting and changing, and our DNA is changing. So I always tell people within the next, like, I feel like in the next probably maybe 20 to 50 years, and it could be sooner than that. I mean, I hope it is. I don't know if humanity's ready for the, like, telepathic, people that are telepathic, telekinesis. Telekinesis is like moving things with your mind. Telepathic is talking through your mind, which if you believe in ETs, I'm a huge ET fanatic. I've had experiences with ETs since I was a kid, but that's a whole nother video. That's how more advanced beings communicate. And a lot of people even think that animals communicate telepathically, which I definitely believe that. I believe that I can talk to my cat and my dogs without having to talk to them like I'm talking to you right here, right now. So these are just some of the things that are happening to us, which some people can already do this stuff. Telekinesis, I never met anyone that can do that, but I'm sure that there are people that can do that. But definitely I've heard of a lot of people being telepathic, and I could be telepathic with some people as well. So this is just an example. We're opening up to new senses. Now, these aren't really new, okay? These are kind of old. So if you look back in ancient Egypt, the Egyptians believed that humans had over 100 senses. And right now, scientists only say that we have 5. So, what's really going on? So, we are going through a huge awakening and realizing our true potential as humans. But before we get to the glory and heaven on earth, is what a lot of people say, we're going to have to go through some shit. So this is what I'm going to talk about in this video. And who knows, ask me questions. I'll answer them on YouTube. If it's not me, it's Jess. If you follow us on Facebook and you watch our live videos, which our Facebook page is Ascension NXT on Facebook, you'll see Jess. She's my best friend and my employee. So it's really cool. I'm living the dream here. But either me or her will answer your questions on this feed. And if you want to see me do a video about anything else, or you want me to go a little bit more in depth about something that I'm talking about today, let me know. Last year I was doing a lot of live Facebook videos, which I'm still going to continue to do those, but I'd really like to build my YouTube page. So here I am. All right, so let's start off with the first step in awakening that I've seen a lot of people go through. I've gone through myself. And also keep in mind too that when you're going through your awakening process, you might go through all 5 of these steps a few times within your lifetime. Okay? Like consecutively, like in a row. And that's how you know you're kind of having another awakening, because I've had more than one awakening in my life. So it's kind of like, instead of like stepping up the ladder, you're kind of flying up and skipping a few steps. And that's how you know that you're having an awakening. It's just huge breakthroughs going on. So you could relate to this maybe in the past, or maybe you're going to watch this video and this stuff is going to come up in the future. Who knows? But hopefully it helps. So the first step that I always see a lot of people go through when they're moving through this process, and even I'm getting like weird feelings through my body while I'm about to say it, is the word denial. The energy of denial. The emotion of denial. Okay, so this comes in many different forms. A lot of times when people wake up, they receive information that they don't want to hear, right? And it's kind of traumatic. So anytime you're going through an awakening phase, it's traumatic. Information that you don't want to hear, but it makes a lot of sense. And you're like, shit, that's not real. That doesn't make any sense. I don't believe that. But inside you have this feeling like you know it's true. So it could be, let's just use, for example, something you found out about ETs, or maybe your friend filmed a video of a UFO, or somebody you know had a crazy paranormal experience. This is just an example. It could be any kind of information coming in that you're not happy about hearing, but you feel like you know it's true. First, you're going to deny it because you don't want to face that fear of it being real. Okay, so that's normally one of the first steps. Self-reflection. So through that information, you might realize that things in your life need to change. So if you realize that aliens are real and you follow a certain religion, so to say, you're going to be questioning that because they may say that that stuff doesn't exist. So then again, here comes, so things that I've known or that I thought were real really aren't, and what does that mean for my future? Okay? And then another way of experience denial is definitely through a form of trauma. So it could be someone dying and you not wanting to feel the guilt, okay? Or not even, I know a lot of people, when some people pass away, it's guilt, but what's the other word for it? Grief. That's the word that I wanted to use. I noticed doing a lot of, even when I'm doing readings, people don't grieve properly, so they kind of ignore that. And when you grieve properly, that's when you can go through your next steps and you can really excel from there. Like, grieving is huge for the human process. It's facing your fears. There's a lot of fears that go along with grieving. So if you feel like you've lost someone or something within your life, you gotta grieve. You gotta face that fear. That's gonna help you move forward. And what's the other thing? Maybe not wanting to heal. So we got information, self-reflection, and then trauma. And these come in all different forms, like I said. Like, self-reflection could be something like, shit, I just found out that my boyfriend is cheating on me, and now I have to leave the relationship. But how many people do you know that find something like that out and then they're like, they don't want to leave? So then the relationship a lot of times just ends up getting worse. So it's things that you need to face, okay? But before fear is denial. Okay, so normally that's the next step, is fear and anger. You got to face that fear and anger. You got to move through that. Another thing with denial is you deny yourself receiving. Okay, so if there's like a form of information or energy that comes to you, you deny yourself from receiving that. You put a wall up, you don't allow that to move in through your field, and then you block other things from coming through. So it can really make a lot of people run into a wall when they keep denying that they have to do something, or they keep denying that they have to change, or they keep denying that something is true. And I see it happen all the time. And a lot of people end up learning the hard way, and this process can take longer if you stay in a place of denial. So really work through that, see what you're working with denial, even through what I'm just talking about, and, move through it, face your fears. So removing denial is a lot of work, okay? Once you remove denial, there's way more steps to go from there. So, fear and denial go hand in hand, okay? In my opinion, denial is worse because you're not experiencing fear. So fear is definitely something that you want to move towards. You want to face your fears. And a lot of times when you see light workers or anybody, like some people that work within their energy, they're just like, oh, just think positive. No. And I always tell people, thinking positive is great. You really want to work with that energy. The law of attraction, yay, all that stuff works. I use it all the time. But sometimes it's not going to work if you're in a form of denial and you're like, but I need to go this way. And the universe is trying to tell you, no, actually you need to go this way, but you're not listening. Okay? And then you keep trying to manifest something that's not supposed to come to you. So you really have to watch that. And the steps that you may have to take may have to be a lot of work. So you might not want to do that. Another thing that I came up with is... that's a reason why our society, I feel like, loves zombies so much. So what's that show? God, why am I drawing a blank right now? I don't remember the name of the show, but you know the name of it. Oh, The Walking Dead. That's the name of the show. So everyone loves that show. It's like one of the best shows on TV or whatever. I'm not a big zombie person. I never really was. I used to watch a lot of horror movies, and I'm not really into zombies. But I feel like that's why our society, or, you know, the media kind of pushes the whole zombie thing, is because they want us to be zombies. And zombies are kind of just humans that there's no feeling or emotion within them at all. They're half dead. So when you live in a state of denial, I feel like you're kind of half dead because you're not living your life. You're better off living your life feeling all different emotions than just feeling the same emotion all the time. When you feel the same emotion all the time, how can you really feel what you want? And how can you really feel what you don't want? So, you know, denial it's a big thing. It's to me, it's scary if you don't move through it. And this is one of the key things. I was a communications major for a long time, and this is one of the key things that I studied was obviously the way we communicate around the world, but we talked a lot about westernization and the way that the westernization is kind of taking over the world. It's the way that, you know, America lives, and it's just like you work and then you die. But there's nothing more to life. It's more just focusing on material things. Like, you gotta have a family, you gotta have a nice house, you gotta have a nice car. And that's kind of the zombie thing. And it's like, not everybody wants a nice house and a nice car or kids. You know, why are we implementing that in our society? Why are we making people believe that? And when you start waking up, you start realizing that this isn't all there is to life. What you've been taught your whole life isn't all there is, and there's more. And you want to go in internally, okay? And you want to feel more, you want to see more, you know that there's more out there than what you're just being shown on TV and what these two eyes are seeing. And that's why a lot of people, when they first begin to wake up, they start opening up their third eye. I always tell my clients the third eye is the mainstream chakra. It really is, because when you first start waking up, everyone's like, how do I open up my third eye? That's one of the main questions that I get in the shop all the time. And it's like, well, you open up, there's a million different ways you can open up your third eye. But one of the main ways that you're going to learn how to channel and really begin to have crazy visuals and connect with your spirit guides and connect with ETs and, you know, connect with ascended masters is by healing and doing the work and getting that heavy, gooky energy off of your field so you can push your aura out, expand your aura, and connect with the light. You want your aura to be a form of light, not a form of sludge. Okay, so you can do all the third eye meditations that you want, but if you're not doing the healing work on yourself, then you're not going to be able to really connect. And doing the healing work on yourself, you've got to get through this whole wearing those rose-colored glasses, as my friend Jamie would say. It's just, you know, move through your shit. Stop acting like something isn't there that you need to pay attention to. It's doing your shadow work. So awakening, experiencing the ascension and going through the awakening process is a lot of shadow work. It's paying attention to your demons. You know what I mean? Things that you feel guilty about, things that you hate about yourself. You don't have to carry hatred around for your whole life, but you have to face pieces of yourself that you may not want to face, or problems in your family that you've been ignoring for a long time. Or, I mean, one of the ways that I woke up was I had a boyfriend who was super into conspiracy theories, and he would come over and talk to me and my friend Brian about like 9/11 was an inside job and all this stuff. And me and Brian, when we first heard that, we laughed at him. We were like, yeah, right, you're crazy. And then, you know, down the line, like me and Brian would make up every excuse in the world why Steve was wrong. But then when we started looking into the stuff, we were like, whoa, you know? And a lot of times when you're making up excuses about something, you know that you're wrong. Because if you feel that it's not right, you really don't pay attention to it. And that's a form of denial. It's like trying to prove to yourself that you're right. So how are you trying to prove to yourself that you're right and exerting your energy in the wrong ways when instead you can just be focusing on taking the next step and pushing a wall down, totally pushing a wall down. And the information thing is huge. There's going to be a lot of information that's going to come out within the next 2 to 5 to 10 years that's going to blow the lid off of humanity. I can already see it now. There's like trickles of it going in the media, and I'm not even going to get into that. But one of them I know for sure is, like, I'm hoping in my lifetime that ET disclosure comes around, because that is going to change so much within humanity. And I could do a whole video on that. So if you want to hear more about that, comment below. Let's see what else I got on here. I'm kind of like, I took a little notes on this because it's kind of an in-depth subject. Yeah, so that's another thing that I was focusing on when I was connecting with westernization, is you are more important to society when you're a consumer. Okay, so when you're conforming and going out there, instead of a minimalist, which is somebody who would kind of just rather live off the land and, you know, experience life, not having to use all of, what's the word for it? You know, just waste. Like, in our society, it's like we buy all this shit and we just create garbage and stuff that we don't need around us. That's kind of what society makes us be. So there it is, the whole zombie thing. And once you start pushing that away, okay, and you're like, I don't want this stuff anymore, it's not making me happy. Because I used to be like a super huge shoe fanatic, and I would just go to the mall and buy like 3 pairs of shoes every week, and I came to the point where, like, I couldn't fit them anywhere anymore. And when I started on my spiritual process, I was like, I don't even care about this shit anymore. Like, I still love shoes. Like, it's still something that, ooh, those are a nice pair of shoes, but it doesn't give me a form of fulfillment like it did before. And it really didn't before. I think that it was just something, you know, emotionally that I had to handle within myself. Like, you know, if you feel like you have an addiction towards something, it's definitely, it's an emotion or something, a blockage that you need to work through. And once you really connect with your internal self, you realize you don't need that shit anymore. Like, you want it, but you don't need it. And that's what our society kind of pushes towards us, is that we need all this stuff, and we need a new couch, and we need, you know, new clothes every week. And it's just a bunch of bullshit. So when you start becoming a minimalist, you're not a zombie anymore. Okay, and then that's kind of when, you know, if you're around a lot of people that aren't awakened, they're like, whoa, like, what's wrong with you? So that's another thing too, which can make you deny, is you kind of feeling like you're left out. So pay attention to that. But when you're going through your awakening phase, you're going to find people, because you're going to begin to shed layers of gunk. You're going to begin to shed people in your life. And you're going to pull in people towards you, or opportunities or places and connections of things that you really connect with and that are going to help you. So your vibration is going to pulsate, and you're going to attract more people that are on your level. So what's the next thing that I talk about? So once you start awakening, you realize you don't want to just consume. Okay, I already talked about that. And these feelings of like, I don't want to consume anymore. I don't want to be a part of this bullshit. I want to be my own person. I want to feel what my soul's been through. I want to see other lifetimes that I've lived. I want to feel more. I want to have more experiences. You begin to move towards a sense of enlightenment. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, you can write these questions down, and this can kind of help you through your process. And even if you feel like you've already like went through the whole denial thing, and telling you, you're gonna keep coming back to this shit in your life. It's just when you really like, you're like, oh my God, you know, souls are real and the other side is real. You're definitely going to go through this, but you're going to go through this in little pieces of your life again. So here's a question for you. What needs changing in your life? Write that question down. What needs changing in your life? okay? So I want you to work with this. What emotions need attention in your life? Okay, so write that down. Are you feeling angry? Are you feeling sad? Do you want to feel sad? Do you not feel anything? Do you feel like maybe you need to grieve? Do you feel like you may be a little addicted to some things and you want to work through that? So feel what emotion, and you can do this you can work through this with a lot of meditation. What fears need to be faced? And don't just believe what you are told because you are denying yourself the eye-opening truths, okay? So that's how I'm going to leave this off. The next video that I'm going to go in is the phase of anger. Because once you move through denial, this is when the fear hits, and this is when you can get angry. Okay, so that's going to be my next video. I hope that you all enjoyed this. I'm so used to doing live videos that when I do these videos, it's like, you know, I'm like all over the place. But that's all right, because I'll get used to them as I do them. So next video is going to be step 2, and this is dealing with anger. Dealing with your issues of anger, which is super normal when you're going through an awakening phase, and it's one of the things that I really had to work on. So thank you everyone for watching my video. Please subscribe to my page below, and you can check out my website at ascensionnxt.com, and I will see you soon. Blessed be.